Warrior, welcome back. How's your self-image? How's your confidence doing? Let's talk about it for a minute. Where do you get your self-image from? How do you feel about yourself? You know, we literally seem to think that however we feel about ourselves and whatever our inner self-talk is, whatever thoughts are in our head, that's just our legit voice and that's just the truth. We have this inner dialogue. Most people do. Pretty much everyone has this inner talk, this self-talk, this inner dialogue that goes on. And we seem to think that whatever is going through our head is our voice. Number one, let me remind you that there are different sources that come from, that literally can invade our thoughts. Other people's words, other people's actions, also God and the enemy. Okay, so number one, remember, not every thought that goes through your mind is actually your thought. Okay, you have to discern the sources of your thought. So I like to just think of basic three. Is this me? Is this God? Or is this the enemy? Number one. Now, let's talk about our own thoughts, because oftentimes we can have this inner self-talk and this self-image that is not always confident, and it's not always true, and it's not according to God's truth and who God says we are. Okay, Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26 says that, it literally says, and God said, let us make man in our image. And God saw everything that he made and that it was good. That's paraphrase. Okay, but God said, let us make man in our image. And then he said it was good. We need to understand that our identity is supposed to come from being made in God's image first. So if we're made in God's image, that means we're made in his likeness. Okay, we need to get our identity from God and from the Bible. Okay, so we're going to dig into this a little bit further, but right now I challenge you to take the time to do two exercises. Number one, for the next 7 days or so, actually stop and think about what you're thinking about and discern which of three sources are your thoughts coming from, especially if you start to have like a bad day and you start to spiral. You like go into condemnation or guilt or shaming or blaming or, something like that. I want you to stop and start trying to, on purpose, discern the source of your thoughts. Is it coming from you? Is it coming from God? Or is it coming from the devil? Now, the way that you know the difference between these is, number one, if it's coming from God, it's going to line up with his word. Number two, if it's coming from the devil, it's not going to line up with God's word. Number three, if it's coming from yourself, you need to know what your true self-image is, what you truly believe about yourself, so that you can sort and separate and throw away the lies that you have come to believe, because they turn into strongholds. You don't want to believe lies about yourself. Look, you already have an enemy. You don't need to be your own enemy. Okay? You need to learn to be your own friend. Learning to be your own friend is a huge asset when it comes to building confidence, but also when it comes to stepping into destiny and purpose and things of that nature. So first exercise for the next 7 days or so, stop and pay attention to your thoughts and discern which of three sources are they coming from. Number two exercise, I challenge you to write down 7 to 10 things about yourself that you like, things that you like that are strengths. Write down 7 to 10 of your strengths, and then write down 3 of your weaknesses. Be honest with yourself. You don't have to let anybody see this, you and God, but I challenge you to do this exercise, because we often focus on the negative instead of the positive. So by taking the time to actually journal and do an exercise and write down 7 to 10 things that you like about yourself or what you know are strengths. Maybe you're kind, maybe you're creative, maybe you're good at communication, maybe you're good at affection, maybe you are a good writer, or you have good organizational skills, or whatever you deem as strengths, and then write down 3 of your weaknesses. Okay, let's put some things into perspective. Okay, and I will be back with you soon, but remember, this week you're created in God's likeness. So when you stop and think about that, God's awesome. God is holy. God is loving. God is kind. He is considerate. He's compassionate. He's confident. He is all wise. Like there's a lot to be said, and we're going to dig into some of this. So join me for the next one. All right. God bless.